to Nate Diaz, but I don't remember if he actually had a win within those fights that he had. But it is Tony Ferguson, and his style of fighting is exactly like I was saying with Kevin Holland. It's very unpredictable. It's very unique, and that's what makes Tony Ferguson the fighter that he is. Uh, if I statistically
Hey
speaking,
guys, just to let you
yeah,
know that I have a Patreon.
Nice.
If you are interested in supporting me, head on over to patreon.com and subscribe for some exclusive content.
hello everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Oh, okay, perfect. We can finally hear myself speak. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna make sure that the everything kind of just works. Oh, okay, perfect. You can hear the audio. Excellent. So we're just gonna reset everything. Today is gonna be like a special kind of stream, actually, speaking. So what I'm gonna do is, as the title says, we're gonna try to commentate, because today on the 29th of July 2023, is a special day. It's UFC 291. It's gonna be Gaethje versus Poirier 2 for the BMF title. It's kind of like impressive, but not that really. I feel like it's just it's just a buffer pay-per-view, but still, nonetheless, it's an excellent card if you actually um, decided to see it. Basically, I'm just gonna turn off the well, lower a little bit the gaming audio, just to make sure that you guys can hear me pretty well. So far, so good. Hopefully the sound is excellent and you guys are enjoying it so far. Enjoy Valorant while I keep gaming, and at the same time, what we're going to do, we're going to go on the UFC 291 fight card, and we're going to see what exactly are the other fighters in the card. I know that that there's the Polish guy at light heavyweight. I keep forgetting his name. He's fighting Alex Pereira, which is really impressive. We're gonna get into that in a few seconds, though. Oh yeah, it's Jan Blachowicz. And oh shit, Derek Lewis actually got boosted up to the third card. Bro, this guy was in the prelims. Ferguson versus Bobby Green, Michael Chiesa, and Michael Chiesa changed his looks, which is okay, is whatever. I'm not gonna spend too much talking about the early prelims or the prelims, because I don't really know these fighters, though. I barely know the fighters on the early prelims, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens. What I'm mostly interested in. Oh, actually, Trevor Giles is fighting in the prelims. I've seen Trevor Giles fight. If I'm not mistaken, he's a good wrestler, though. If I look at his stats. Takedown defense, submission average. I'm not sure, but I feel like I've seen him before, and I think that he is definitely a takedown guy. He's a grappler though, so but then again, I'm still not really interested in the prelims. We'll see what happens. We'll go on to the main card, and we'll start off right about Michael Chiesa at welterweight. It's kind of interesting that Chiesa, oh, he's actually number 12 at welterweight. And he's fighting Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's actually the favorite into going into this fight. I've been actually impressed with Kevin Holland watching his fights. Statistically speaking, Holland does. Oh my God! If I look at the pictures right now between both of them, Holland does have a bigger reach, and you can definitely see it. That is really significant. And the reason why I like watching Kevin Holland fight is that for some reason his kung fu works. Like No cap. He uses kung fu to fight, right? This guy uses kung fu to fight, and it's so interesting to watch him fight because it actually works. He's kind of like a welterweight Tony Ferguson, if you know what I mean. Tony Ferguson actually fought once at welterweight when he had to fight Nate Diaz. It was a fight in the making, and it was really interesting to see. Nevertheless, I do agree with the odds, with the Vegas odds. Kevin Holland minus 145. And the reason I feel like Kevin Holland is probably gonna win um, is most. I feel like he's mostly just um, unpredicted. He's unpredictable when he fights, and that's the actual fighting style of Kevin Holland. Though he's very unpredictable when he fights, especially with those kicks. And especially the reach which is going to be significant. Chiesa is a well-rounded fighter on the other side of the table, but a well-rounded fighter with a fighter who fights unpredictably really destabilizes a fighter like Chiesa. You know, well-rounded technical fighters, because Chiesa is very technical when you watch him fight. They get very destabilized by fighters like Kevin Holland. So, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland for the win, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens later. Moving up to the card, we got Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is back versus Bobby Green. This one is really interesting. I watched this. It's interesting for the odds because I watched the odds and apparently Bobby Green is set to win. But after watching the press conference, and I mean, it really depends on how Tony Ferguson feels because he was very silent throughout the whole uh, press conference, not taking into consideration the stories that Bobby Green was telling of Tony Ferguson during the press conference. But Tony Ferguson looked calm, and Bobby Green was. The thing is when if you take in the mentality of fighters when they try to hype up a fight and they're not very good on the mic, I just kind of feel like they're not very good. Like they're trying to hype up the fight, yes, but at the same time they're not focused on their opponents. And as such, I feel like that's a detriment come fight day. I may be wrong though. I may be wrong because some fighters like are horrible on the mic and they're excellent in the ring. But I mean, Bobby Green does not he doesn't look like that fighter who's mind focused, you know, kind of like what Tony Ferguson was during the press conference. Nevertheless, the reason why the fight odds are like that, if we go back to the fight odds, is because unfortunately Tony Ferguson has been on a losing streak ever since that loss. Well, um, I don't remember if he actually had a win post fight of Charles Oliveira because he lost to Oliveira. He lost his number one contendership. Um, and then he lost to Gaethje. He lost to uh, if I don't remember, Michael Chandler with that very impressive KO from Chandler. He lost to Nate Diaz, but I don't remember if he actually had a win within those fights that he had. But it is Tony Ferguson and his style of fighting. His style of fighting is exactly like I was saying with Kevin Holland. It's very unpredictable. It's very unique, and that's what makes Tony Ferguson the fighter that he is. Uh, if I statistically speaking, yeah, all right, Tony Ferguson has a longer reach than Bobby Green. Um, They're fighting at lightweight. If I'm not mistaken, Ferguson is the older fighter than Bobby Green. If I'm not mistaken, Bobby Green is 35. If I were to just kind of they don't put the age in anymore. Let me just see his age actually. His age. He's 36, and Ferguson I think is 38 or 39. So if I look at Tony Ferguson, 39 years. Okay, okay. So he's 39. They're pretty evenly matched on the age gap. So so it is what it is. But unfortunately, I don't agree with the fighting odds. Just because also Bobby Green, if I don't remember, he fought um I don't remember if it was Dan Hooker or if he fought Charles Oliveira, but he lost very quickly. I saw him in one match, but he lost very quickly actually in his last fight. Uh, Jared, oh, his other fight was a no contest fight, and these are the only two fights that he had in 2023. But in 2022, okay, Drew Doper. Ah, yes, he fought Islam. He fought Islam. He fought Mahashev. That's what I was trying to remember. And it was a very quick win. It was a round one finish. And I think it was because Mahashev's opponent pulled out and they had to replace him with Bobby Green. Um, so yeah, it was a very quick win. And that was in 2022. And this guy's been on a losing streak, so I don't know why the live odds predict him as the winner. Um, fight. If we go into the fighting styles of both fighters, that's why I think Bobby Green. I don't see him as the favorite into this, and especially as a minus 375 favorite for now, for the live odds, because I feel like he's just a boxer. He's just a striker, basically. He's just a boxer versus Tony Ferguson, who uses all of his body. He's also a great grounded fighter, a great jiu-jitsu fighter. Now, granted, I haven't seen really much of Bobby Green fight except during the last Islam Makhachev fight, um, and I haven't seen him in the other fights. But I don't really see him winning. So that's why I see my pick would be Tony Ferguson wins this fight. Moving on to the third fight of the night. It's Derek Lewis, my boy Derek Lewis, versus the Brazilian Lima. It's gonna be a heavyweight bout. Um, Here's the thing. I haven't seen much of Lima, but he is a Brazilian, and it is a heavyweight bout. And what I see in this fight is pretty much a stand and bang fight, as in basically they're just gonna stand and throw blows. Now, granted, Brazil's got the jiu-jitsu in the bag, so probably, well, obviously you got Lima as the favorite because Derek Lewis. That's the problem. It goes 50-50, especially if I don't. If you guys remember that. The fight he had against the Russian. I think it was Alexander Volkov. Alexander Volkov was about to win, but around I think 50 seconds left into the fight, Derek Lewis pulls off the win. If it happens tonight, well, good for him. But yeah, I do have to agree with these odds because Derek Lewis is pretty much a 50-50 fighter when it comes to like a stand and bang fight. And other parts of technicality. So I don't see Derek Lewis winning the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu fight. I just see him mostly winning the stand and bang fight. But hopefully, this fight looks pretty much promising. Um, I'm not gonna pick a winner here because I'm unaware of the other guy's potential, of Lima's potential. Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I haven't seen his potential, so I can't really say. So for me, it's gonna be a pick'em fight, pretty much. Finally, going on to the co-main event. Interesting. Alex Pereira moves on to light heavyweight, which was, I feel it was kind of discussed. Um, I feel like it was kind of discussed, pretty much after he lost to Adesanya. And I'm not sure because I wasn't following what they were talking about on social media. I'm not sure if they were trying to book a rematch, but then Adesanya did not want the rematch. I'm not sure about that. I can't say or be on the same page as that. I can't really say anything like that. But one thing is for sure is that if Alex Pereira pulls off this win, and who is the light heavyweight uh, champion right now? Who's the light heavyweight champion right now? I have to get back into yeah, I'm talking statistics right now, and I don't even know half of the fighter's name or the light heavyweights. It's God damn, what was his name? Light heavyweight champion. For UFC, unless it's vacant. Oh right, it's the UK guy. No, it's the UK guy. I don't. Oh my god, I barely remember his name. Oh my goodness. Jamal Hill relinquished his light heavy. Ah, it was Jamal Hill. Okay, there we go. Light heavyweight bout. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm gonna see on the official website what they're actually Okay. So, last fight, Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill wins the light heavyweight title. Yeah, so that's why I couldn't remember the light heavyweight champion. Yeah, so Big Daddy, old man Teixeira loses to Jamal Hill, which was really unfortunate because I really liked Teixeira fight, especially at his age. He was really impressive. But having Blachowicz fight Pereira, I feel like they should have just did this fight, Blachowicz versus Hill, without having to go through Pereira. But I think Dana White really wants to push Alex Pereira because imagine this. You got Pereira winning against Blachowicz, goes on to fight Jamal Hill, wins the title, goes back to middleweight, wins again against Israel Adesanya, and completely goes into the to the record books as the as one of the conversation of into the conversation of the greatest of all time, especially for a guy who just came into the UFC. He's been fighting, I think, since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. He's 7-2-0, and his last loss was against Israel Adesanya. So, and also, granted, he won 3 times against Israel Adesanya. They're now 3-1. Um, we'll see definitely what happens. But if I'm not mistaken, the odds have Pereira winning, which I do have to agree with that. Yeah, minus. Oh no, actually, it's a pick'em fight. It's a pick'em fight. They're evenly matched according to the Vegas odds. But I don't have to agree with that. I would say that Pereira wins, not because stylistically speaking, um, not because stylistically speaking, striking wise, Pereira won against Izzy, but it's because Jan Blachowicz also won against Israel Adesanya. He won via decision during their light heavyweight encounter. And so it's gonna be, and I think that's why the Vegas odds put them at as a pick'em fight. But if Pereira manages to win against Adesanya, and he's a much more well-rounded fighter. Because here's the thing, Pereira is able to take these shots. Like, if you remember, Adesanya was throwing big shots and big combos at Alex Pereira, but he was just like taking them in. He has a chin. He has resistance. Jan Blachowicz, obviously, he's European, and he's from, he's also Polish. So they also have a chin over there. But, I'm just saying, Pereira, at the end of the day, is going to come down to the strength of Pereira when he throws those combos. Blachowicz is, yes, he's a very technical fighter. But we'll see if he's able to take on the combos of Alex Pereira. We'll see about that. But I think, adaptively speaking, Pereira is the well-rounded fighter in this fight, and I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira because of what I've been seeing towards his last fight. Finally, we move on to the main event: Dustin Poirier versus Gaethje 2 versus Justin Gaethje 2. This is really interesting. They have the live odds have Dustin Poirier winning this fight. I think because, number one, with a first man into their fight, Dustin Poirier won the fight, and also because Justin Gaethje, if I'm not mistaken, actually no, I think Justin Gaethje is coming off a win off of Chandler, if I am not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's coming. Oh no, he's coming off a win versus Fiziev. Fiziev, which was also a really excellent fight, and that's the 2023 bouts. Ah, yes, I see. He's coming. He lost to Oliveira in 2022, but in 2021, he won versus Chandler. He won versus Chandler by decision. I remember that fight. That one I remember. Oliveira, he lost. If I think it was a knockout. And then he won versus Fiziev at decision. And now he's fighting Poirier. But it's not like he's on a losing streak for a long while. It's just that I think that the Vegas odds took the first fight into the consideration. But the thing is about the first fight is, if you know Justin Gaethje, he stands and bangs. And that's what he's going to do. But the other thing about Gaethje, if you've noticed, is that he's also a technical fighter when he stands and bangs. And he throws hard shots, but he's gonna place himself in a very in very good positions in order to be able to throw those power shots. But nevertheless, here's the thing about Dustin Poirier, the first and especially during the first fight that they had. If you stand and bang versus Poirier, he's gonna do the same thing. And boxing-wise speaking, I think Poirier is one of the best boxers in the lightweight division. Not counting that the fact that I think he's number 2 or number 3 right now. If you look at Dustin Poirier, so Gaethje's number 3, so that means Dustin Poirier is number 1 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Number 1 or number 2? Give me a second. I think I have to sneeze. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. So let me just see. Ranking wise, come on. What is he? What is he right now? Oh my goodness. Come on. What is he? What is he right now? Let me see the lightweight division. Okay. Charles. Okay, so he's number 2 and he's fighting number 3. Exactly. But like I said, Dustin Poirier is one of the best boxers of the lightweight division. And I kind of want to say that he did not fight Charles Oliveira, but I'm just gonna do a little search just to make sure. Let me just make sure that he has not fight. He fought Michael Chandler and he won. And I swear to God, that was in 2022. Yeah, so he has yet to fight. Ah, he did fight Charles Oliveira. It's just that I don't remember that fight between um, between both of them, if I'm not mistaken. But he did fight Khabib, so he did fight Khabib. He won against Dan Hooker in 2020. He lost to Khabib in a very, very well fought out, and I think he was the only one who was about to submit Khabib with that guillotine choke. But yeah, he did fight Charles Oliveira, and I think it was during the fight. It was on the same card where you had Chandler fighting Tony Ferguson, if I'm not mistaken. It was on that same card. Um, needless to say, I want to say Justin Gaethje, but the only way I see Justin Gaethje winning is only if he's able to, um, to what's the word I'm looking for? Put pressure. Put as much pressure as he can versus Poirier, because here's the thing about Gaethje, he does have a chin and he does fight wildly and he's very technical when he fights wildly, but Dustin Poirier is on a whole other level. So that's why I think I'm going to go with Dustin Poirier at the end, because boxing wise both of them win. Like I said, Justin Gaethje does not really much use his wrestling, even though he was an NCAA wrestler. But that's the thing I feel that is going to be the decisive factor into this fight. If Justin Gaethje does not use his wrestling, Dustin Poirier may end up winning the fight, basically. So those are my picks. If we kind of just review them at the end, I said Kevin Holland, I said Tony Ferguson. Derek Lewis is mostly a pick-em fight. I'm not sure who's going to win. I'm going to go with Alex Pereira, and then finally Dustin Poirier at the end. With that being said, I hope you guys are also enjoying it. It's pretty much an interesting stream. What I did here, and it's something new that I also want to try out. Like I said, before, like just having the video game instead of me just like playing live. These are like my highlights that I kind of picked, are like my victories in team deathmatch, especially in Valorant right now, that I just kind of like mashed up together in order to be able to like commentate and kind of like just do this sort of ish podcast that I have with Valorant and maybe other video games at the same time, if you just kind of like want to see other video games. But right now, and I think you guys have kind of noticed that I haven't been very much posting. I haven't really been posting for a while now, videos or streams like that. But it's because I've also been busy this whole summer, so maybe I will. Maybe I will with soon, in 2 to 3 weeks, start posting more and more and more. But for now, this is actually what I've been trying to do as well for the past well, this summer actually, just to stay a little bit on the postage notes. With that being said, last UFC, which was UFC 290, if I were to kind of relate to that, there's not a lot of fighters that have been coming back. And in the sense, what I say by I mean coming back, well, they haven't been like getting back into the fight for this UFC fight card. Obviously, there's like rules and suspensions that they give fighters post-fight in order to not make them get injured if they just do decide to take on another fight contract for specifically this UFC. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's a 2 week or 3 week interval since the last UFC fight. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, right now, currently, um, right now, currently, there's no fighters. Actually, what I was gonna say, there's no fighters in this card that kind of seem that they are like official contenders for the championships. I mean, at heavyweight, you got Derek Lewis, and if I were to start on this subject, I mean, probably you could give Derek Lewis the oh shit. I actually noticed Lima is actually number 15. He's actually a ranked fighter. He's actually the last ranked fighter of the rankings. He's number 15. Derek Lewis is number 10. But here's the thing. If I were to um, how do you say? Take Derek Lewis and do what he did. Because if you remember, he had a championship fight, and that was because the fans really liked Derek Lewis. He made it all the way, if I'm not mistaken, number 2 or number 3 to fight Daniel Cormier, who was the champion at the time, and he lost. But that's it. If he can pull this off and fight John Jones, if he can, oh my God, if imagine the press conference that you would have between Derek Lewis, just imagine the press conferences that you would have between Derek Lewis and John Jones. Imagine those press conferences. It would be hilarious to have both of these fighters during a press conference, number one. Number two, obviously, if you fight John Jones versus Derek Lewis, um, I would see John Jones winning, but it would really be a nice opportunity for Derek Lewis to have him rise and shine again for the title. Um, if I'm not mistaken, John Jones, they've completed a fight contract for John Jones at heavyweight. They were speaking about, um, let me just see, John Jones. He was supposed to fight. Oh yes, versus Stipe. He's fighting Stipe. Yes, now I remember. He's fighting Stipe. Um, honestly, versus Stipe, I see John Jones winning. Um, not because I feel like Stipe is a bad fighter. Nevertheless, he did a pretty good. He had a very good performance versus in all of his fights, and especially on the matter of that, on the matter of fact that Stipe is able to come back from hardships that he had. So, for example, if I give you an example, um, the biggest example I can give you is Daniel Cormier. Yeah, he lost to Daniel Cormier, but he managed to win back the title from uh, Daniel Cormier. He lost it once, won it back. They had 3 fights, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, he loses it to Daniel Cormier in the first fight, wins it back from Daniel. In the third fight, wins it back again from Daniel. So he he puts himself as this fighter who was able to win back a loss twice from the same fighter. Versus Ngannou, wins the first fight. Obviously, Ngannou comes back, but it's unfortunate that they didn't have this third fight. Maybe after a few years, they're able to have a third fight if Ngannou decides to come back to the UFC, which I don't think uh, is gonna happen in a million years for some reason. Um, but nevertheless, Stipe is a good fighter in the sense that he focuses himself. He has that focus to be able to get himself back up after hardships that he had. Um, but with that being said, I still do see John Jones winning number one because John Jones is just an amazing, well-rounded fighter. But it's unfortunate that he has those. Well, if you know John Jones's history, it's unfortunate that you know about his his past that has caught up to him. If I were to see this, if I were to look at the history of the light heavyweight right now into the future, if I would try to do a prediction, tonight, like I said, if Alex Pereira wins this fight, he goes on to fight light. He goes on after John Jones win. He fights John Jones. No, sorry. What am I saying? I know. Sorry, I just kind of got confused. Let me just see the heavyweight rankings right now. I just see the heavyweight rankings right now. So John Jones is the champion. He won against Cyril Gahn. Pavlovich. There we go.
10 seconds until stage change.
So Pavlovich, I haven't seen Pavlovich fight in his history. Oh, but I do remember Tuivasa versus Pavlovich and Lewis. I think there was a fight. Lewis and Pavlovich were the main event during the fight night. He has lots of multiple KOs, but the thing is, they're all round one, and John Jones likes to make the fight go on and on and on. You know, he likes to technically put on the combos on his fighter. So it's gonna be really interesting to see Pavlovich versus John Jones. So he's fighting Stipe. So if I were to predict this, Stipe. John Jones wins against Stipe. He either can fight Pavlovich or
Anyone else?
either fights Pavlovich. I'm trying to predict this as well because number 5, yes, it's Curtis Blades, but Curtis Blades is kind of like an iffy, and what I mean by iffy, like yeah, he is very good. He is very good, but at the same time, I feel like he needs to fight a little bit more before just kind of like going to that championship level, because obviously I don't think Curtis Blades is ready for John Jones, you know. Oh, he actually won against Volkov if I look at his fight history. He had 2 fights against Derek Lewis, and he got knocked out by Derek Lewis. Oh no, actually, oh my goodness, I thought Derek Lewis looked the same as Rosenstruck, but he lost to Lewis, and that's what I'm saying about Lewis. That's what I'm saying, that Lewis, if you stand and bang and he gets you that knockout blow, that's what makes Lewis a very good fighter. He's so unpredictable when he fights. That's what I like about him. Yeah, I mean, something has to change between Curtis Blades, but he is a very excellent fighter. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him fight. He's trying to be that technical fighter, you know, and he's a very good, well-rounded fighter. But I mean, I don't think he's also ready for John Jones, especially if Sergey Pavlovich is number 1 in the heavyweight division. And granted, he has round 1 knockouts, you know? Because John Jones, like I said, he's also, he can finish you, but if you look at his past light heavyweight bouts, his past light heavyweights bouts, what I'm trying to say is, they've all been decision wins. If you look at Dominic Reyes, if you look at his fight with, his last fight that I can barely remember because John Jones doesn't fight a lot. If you look at his past fights, you look at, yeah, Dominic Reyes was his last fight at light heavyweight. Thiago Santos is a decision. Anthony Smith is also a decision, and my goodness, if I remember, I remember the fight with Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, it's so unfortunate that he just froze up completely during his fight, because Anthony Smith is probably one of the most well-rounded fighters in the light heavyweight division. And if I go at the rankings as well, Anthony Smith used to be #1, now he's #7. I would have Anthony Smith just kind of like have a second fight with John Jones if that's possible, because man, it would be another amazing fight. He fought Gustafsson a second time, and that was in like 2018. But yeah, like I said, if you look at his record so far at light heavyweight, they're all his last 3 fights at light heavyweight were decision wins. His only win at heavyweight is a submission win in round 1. So, I mean, it is what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. But John Jones has been a decision fighter so far, even though he doesn't fight like consistently every single year, you know. Now we're gonna see him against Stipe at UFC 295 in November, actually. So we're gonna see what happens then. Honestly, it's kind of a what I'm gonna say. It's kind of like a imagination prediction, and hopefully it happens. But I kind of want to see John Jones win at heavyweight, moves back down to light heavyweight, and then Izzy moves up to light heavyweight, and they have a fight over there. But just imagine that. Or, best thing yet, Alex Pereira either moves up to light heavyweight, and this is where it interestingly it comes into 2 paths. Alex Pereira wins against Blachowicz, goes to fight on Jamal Hill, wins the light heavyweight title. John Jones moves back down to light heavyweight. They have a fight, and holy shit, that would be also a really interesting fight. Imagine that. But still, I feel like John Jones would win in this type of outcome. With that being said, it's very interesting actually. It's the rankings are now at very interesting fights. So far for the light heavyweight division, Makhachev is the champion. If we go back now, I can't really say much for the light heavyweight division, because I mean Tony Ferguson, it's only Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green, and I mean, if Tony Ferguson wins tonight, yeah, okay, and they've also stopped ranking him. He's unranked. He's an unranked fighter right now, Tony Ferguson. If I go, yeah, he's unranked. Oh man, Dos Anjos is #9 in the ranking of the light heavyweight division. Prediction for the light heavyweight division, I can't really say currently for this card. Yeah, okay, if Tony Ferguson wins, it's fine. Oh, so what am I saying? Light heavyweight. Lightweight. I'm sorry. So confused during the past 5 minutes. But if Tony Ferguson wins tonight, I don't see him going up against back into the rankings of the lightweight division. Just simply because of the current rankings right now, especially like if you put him up against #7, which is Gamrot, and #8, which is Tsarukian, you have like these top 2 contenders, and if you go back down, Michael Chandler, Dariush, Justin Gaethje, and etc., you have these extremely well-rounded fighter, especially, and if we look back at UFC, at the last UFC, he had Dariush versus Oliveira, and it's so sad how Dariush lost to Oliveira, but it still gives Oliveira a chance to win back his title. He is number one, um, especially versus Makhachev. And if I'm not mistaken, Makhachev won uh, through submission. If I'm not mistaken. Let me just see his fight. Let me see Makhachev's fights. His stats. So he's gonna fight Oliveira next. He fought Volkanovski, which won, but he won against Oliveira. Yeah, so he submissioned him in round 2. And his last opponent, which was Alexander Volkanovski, which a lot of people say that, okay, Volkanovski won that fight. Take it with however grain of salt you had, but it was a unanimous decision as well.
Match found.
If you look, I'm just gonna say this: if you look at Charles Oliveira versus Makhachev, and you compare it to the fight with Alexander Volkanovski, Oliveira needs to train hard right now. And I'm gonna tell you this: Oliveira is exactly like I said with when I brought up Stipe. Oliveira is a fighter who is capable to get back up on his feet and take himself in charge and go through the adversity that he has had. He's that type of fighter. So yeah, he lost to round 2 against Makhachev for a submission, but takes himself back up, goes through adversity, and then brings on the best fight of his life. I do see him do that. I am seeing him doing that against Makhachev and giving Makhachev the biggest problem of his career. Now, with that being said, if I were to look at the lightweight cards, Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier right now, these two are number 2 and number 3 right now. Because obviously they're doing the like this UFC fight card for the BMF title tonight, and obviously as a joke, the BMF guy, Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier, is gonna go up and then fight Makhachev after he wins or loses against Oliveira. But if both of these guys lost against Oliveira, I don't see them kind of winning against Makhachev, especially since Makhachev is this well-rounded sambo pressure fighter. He fights exactly like Khabib, and like it or not, if you like Makhachev or not, however you see this going as, you cannot argue that Makhachev is a pressure fighter. And he's a very good pressure fighter. Honestly saying, if I'm not mistaken, it was Tsarukian. It was Tsarukian who managed to win. To give Makhachev, I think yeah, there you go. In 2019, he gave Makhachev a very serious bout, a very good struggle. It was a very huge struggle. He gave him a struggle. And it was the same thing Alexander Volkanovski gave a huge struggle to Islam Makhachev. So if I were to predict this, if I were to predict the lightweight division right now, I obviously would see Poirier or Gaethje, whoever wins tonight, go up against Islam. But in reality, give Gamrot or Tsarukian all of these fights, make them go all the way to number 1 or number 2 contention, and honestly give also Beneil Dariush a chance. Bro, this guy has been also fighting as well. Give like honestly, like give Dariush, please give him a chance. Oh, he fought Ferguson. He fought Ferguson in 2021 and he won.
10 seconds until stage
But yeah, seriously, just give this guy a chance. At the title, give this guy a chance, man. Even though he lost against Oliveira, and I don't know why Dana White has been like messing around with, with Dariush, man. Seriously, he is a very good, excellent fighter, man. I'm just saying. It's kind of sad to not have seen him fight between the last 2 weeks. But man, this guy, Dariush is like an amazing, well-rounded fighter, considering I think he's 34. He's 34. So you gotta give him a chance, even though he lost against Oliveira. You know what's funny is that the meme that I have about Oliveira, and I've seen this meme actually. You know the Simpsons meme where you have Mo throwing out Barney out of his bar, and he says good riddance, and then you just have Barney just like in the background showing up again in the bar. And that's what kind of Charles Oliveira did. So Makhachev throws out Oliveira. He's done. He thinks he's done with Oliveira. Oliveira comes back, and it's Charles Oliveira versus Makhachev 2. Hopefully, like I said, Oliveira fights through adversity. He's a very good adversity fighter. He's very good trying to fight through adversity. He's very good at fighting through the adversity. So hopefully it becomes a second struggle for Makhachev to win. But with that being said, I just kind of want to see Dariush. I just kind of want to see Dariush just go against Makhachev or for whoever the champion is, because man, he really deserves it. He really does deserve it. With that being said, I've pretty much kind of like not stopped, but yeah, I pretty much like don't have anything else to say about UFC 291. Hopefully you guys watch it and let me know if you could guys can leave a comment of who you guys think is gonna win. What are your odds? What are your picks? And why as well? I'd be interesting to know. I didn't get a lot of people chatting in my chats, but it'd be interesting to see why you guys think, why my predictions would be wrong, why my predictions would be right, or what you guys think the future predictions are. It'd be really interesting to see that, or to talk just to have a chat as well. And I hope you've enjoyed these Valorant's playthrough. Speaking of Valorant, I've actually purchased Astra. I've purchased Astra, and she's really fun to play, especially when she goes into her like meditation part to place those orbs around the map. It's really cool what you can do as an Astra player. I've played her in Team Deathmatch. As you can see, I've been just playing Team Deathmatch recently, but I will try her in an actual Valorant Spike diffusion match, like the normal fights. I will try her in matches like that, but I don't really what am I saying? I'm not really. I'm still getting used to her, you know, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say specifically. She's probably one of the best agents so far in Valorant. One of my favorite agents. Yeah, she doesn't have a Molotov, but she does have those She has a concussion, and she has that like absorption thing that you can do. Um, but with that being said, I still have much to learn about Astra. But as you can see, she's pretty cool. Like I said, her best highlights is going into her meditation form. Oh damn, that was it. Oh, and that actually got the win on that one. Oh my god, I remember that. I remember that. Man, what a highlight. What a highlight. Mm, Also, by the way, if you've noticed, I'm not like the best team deathmatch player. And since I got back into like playing Spike Rush or like the normal matches, um, I haven't been like the best player as well, trying to get back
Match
into it.
found.
But I'm still trying though, and especially since I purchased Aya, I know that there's a new character that came out. It's that Swedish girl who just kind of like sand coffins people, and I'm saying sand coffin because I just kind of remember in Naruto, Gara who does the sand coffin and sand burial. I just kind of like remember that. But other than that,
I am both
um,
shield and sword.
oh, speaking of team deathmatch, I've noticed that some characters are pretty useless than others. Um, for example, Sage, it's so hard when you have like her ultimate, especially if I take her ultimate as an example. Yeah, it's useful, but at the same time, you have to revive people very quickly in team deathmatch. Number one. Number two, because you're reviving somebody in the same spot that they died, there's an enemy on the other side, right? There's an enemy on the other side waiting for you to shoot you. So not only are you getting a death into the death counter because your ally died, but imagine this, you're reviving, you die as well after you revive. That's number two on the death counter. And then you revive your teammate, but they end up dying. That's number three. That's like three deaths in a row, which is like pretty horrible uh, for a Sage player in team deathmatch. And number two, people respawn so quickly in team deathmatch. You don't even have time um, to revive actual players. Other useless agents that I find would be, let me think about it. I'm thinking about useless agents in team deathmatch. Uh,
And they're off.
um,
You fought well. Reloading.
I'm trying to think about it.
Reloading.
Oh, sorry about that. So for example, Cypher. Cypher. I was trying to figure out his name. So Cypher, um, the reason why he would be considered useless is because, well, his traps, number one, that kind of that makes him viable, but it's again on the ultimate side of things. Basically, Cypher, his ultimate is that he puts his cap in order to see people on the map, right? To decode people on the map. The problem with that is,
My ultimate is
again,
ready.
people respawn very quickly in team deathmatch, and so if you're just like pressing X X X X X X X on your for your ultimate, if you have it, you're at risk of like not being concentrated enough to the other to your surrounding, and you end up dying. The second thing is that because they spawn so fast, you have to be really close to them, and when you do end up doing your ultimate, it doesn't last very long. And I mean, it's kind of pretty horrible if I were to put it that way. I do like the fact in team deathmatch that your ultimates kind of like respawn very quickly. But with that being said, I feel that for team deathmatch, I'm not saying like to make some agents have another ultimate. I'm just probably saying like at least try to rework them or have um,
Can't use this yet.
or have like a longer cooldown for the characters who do have who do need other agents in order to activate their ultimate. You know, because it's you see here. I was trying to revive, but I couldn't. She just respawned so fast. Look at that. She respawned so fast. Oh, and then I died. Oh man, that what kind of bizarre thing. Very bizarre.
Can't use this yet.
Anyways, I'm gonna let. I think there's like
Barrier created.
this match has just begun, so I'm just gonna let this match play itself out. I'm just gonna let this match play itself out, and it's probably gonna be the last match of the stream. There's 5 minutes into the stream, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And then after that, we're gonna. Oh yeah, here as you can see, I'm trying to wait. Trying to wait for plays to die, so I can just bring them back with my ultimate. And as you can see, I still die. So that's why I'm saying Sage is not a very good agent in team deathmatch.
Your duty is not
See, I revived the Sage, and then I think yeah, the other one ends up dying as well. Oh no, wait, she didn't die. I think I revived the Jet or I revived the Raze, but either way, I revived her inside of the thing, inside of the smoke of Jet. Anyways, other useless agents. Actually, a useful agent that I think is pretty much Sky. Sky is a really well-rounded agent in Team Deathmatch. Not only because she can like heal people, she can heal them back, but also at the same time, her ultimate is very useful. One thing that I find in Team Deathmatch is focusing on trying to get your ultimate. If you're kind of a useless shooter like me, your ultimates can do pretty much the difference between a kill and a death. For your teammates, I mean. Other than that, Breach is also a very useful character in Team Deathmatch.
ultimate is not ready.
Killjoy is also a pretty useful character in Team Deathmatch.
For you.
Charge your ults.
And I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Who's next?
I think my next agent in Valorant is gonna be the Middle Eastern guy. I don't remember his name, but he controls water basically. Oh man, that was an excellent shot. The guy was, I think he was reloading. I think he was reloading. Oh man, I got shot. I got shot by some people. I don't remember who was behind me. I can't really see from here. The screen is so small though. The way I set up my OBS, but it is what it is. I wanna see what other spots.
Can't use this yet. For you. Satchel up.
Here, I tried to make Yeah, I don't have a good recoil. I don't have a good recoil
Healing you.
stability. You know.
Battle out.
But aside from that, this match is over in like a minute and 30, and I'm not sure if we're gonna win or lose. Oh, wait a minute. I've been winning. Sorry, these highlights are mostly like all of the wins that I've had so far in Team Deathmatch. So she's gonna die. Ah, yes. Ah, I can revive her. Yo, I was so ready. I swear to God, I was so ready about that. Oh my God, and I died as well. So stupidly as well.
Get out of my way.
There's probably like 58 seconds, but there's 2 minutes in the match, and there you go. She comes back to life. I waste my ultimate. I think I got like 2 ultimates down in this match. But it is what it is. Okay, so he dies. And it's like, oh no, wait, we're like two matches down. Ah, man, I can't believe I died right there. I died, but at the end we still get the victory, and they're at like 99 deaths. Anyways, I'm so glad you enjoyed the stream. I know it's different from the other streams, and I hopefully you liked talking about UFC predictions, UFC, just UFC talk in general. With that being said, I have been your host, AJP, or actually Majin P. Thank you so much for being on the stream. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you folks next time. Thank you for watching.
Hey guys, thank you very much for watching the whole content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to catch it live, come on twitch.tv/MajinP. That's MAJINNP. I appreciate the support this channel has been getting, which is making it growing bigger and bigger. So please take the time to like, subscribe, and share, and all of that fun stuff. I'm always here trying to get up there, so if you want to support your boy, you know what to do. Thank you very much again for watching, and peace out.